Hey folks, Crazy Clemmer 80 here again, and this time we're going to look at game number 19 in our 20 from 1988 series. This is kind of a classic by Taito. This is an omni-directional scrolling maze adventure game, and this is called the New Zealand Story. And you star as a kiwi bird. His name is Tiki, and you are on a quest to retrieve your friends that were abducted by, what do they call it? Like a sea leopard or leopard seal. But it's a very cute game, but don't be fooled. It is very, very, very difficult and very frustrating at times. Like I said, it's omnidirectional, and by that I mean that whichever direction you move, the screen will scroll in that direction until you reach like a ceiling or a wall or a floor or something that you can't go further than. But it is very, very cute. It has very cute graphics. The enemies that you kill turn into food for points. Sound familiar? Kind of like a Bubble Bobble or Rainbow Islands. But you have an 8-way joystick, and you have a jump button and a fire button. And yeah, you can collect weapons. And you start out with weapons. And we'll get started. And this is a very cute opening here. And there's that leopard seal that abducts your friends, and it did abduct you, but you got away. And now you are on a quest to go back and retrieve them. And you start out with arrows, and you can hop up these platforms. And kiwis are flightless birds, so you can't fly. But what you can do is collect rides. There are balloons, there are little floating platforms, and you just need to knock off the riders. And then by holding down the jump button, you can stay aloft. So yeah, you use the jump button to fly. And your goal is to just reach the end of the maze, and you will see arrows pointing out the way. And you have to just touch the cage of your abducted buddy, and then you have saved them, and the level will end. There are 5 worlds and 4 parts to each world, so I am still on World 1. This is Part 2. And at the end of the fourth part of each world, almost every world, there will be a boss fight. And note that if you are leery of spikes in video games, you will not like this one, because they are everywhere. You are a one-hit kill, but you can touch almost every enemy except for those spikes. Those little spiky guys. Or for landing on spikes. That will kill you instantly. Sometimes you will see little walls that bar your way, and they are held up by a balloon, and you need to pop the balloon. Now, even though you can touch almost every enemy and not die, they are very fond, in general, of chucking projectiles at you, and contact with any projectile is fatal. You have no energy meter or anything, but you do have an oxygen meter. When you have to swim, you will see your kiwi bird don scuba gear. And you have to, if you run out of oxygen, you will lose a life. There are ways to get extra lives, and I like that there are little ducks that you can also ride. But again, hold down the jump button to stay aloft, or rapidly press it, but I'd much rather just hold it down. Yeah, enemies will throw projectiles at an angle, they will drop it straight down, they will throw them at you from below. If you have like a balloon and it's above you, then you can take a hit on the balloon and it will change color, and if it gets hit enough, you will lose that balloon. See there, I lost that ride there. There will be extra lives that you can get by collecting the letters EXTEND, extend. Sound familiar? You can do that in Bubble Bobble too. And you can also reach point values like 70,000 and 200,000 to get an extra life. After that, I'm not sure if you get more. You probably do. Probably every 200,000 after that. Even with all the arrows telling you where you need to go, it's still very easy to get lost. And sometimes it seems that there's no way out of a certain area. See the blue and white arrows pointing which direction you need to go. But in order to get off a ride, you simply press down. Get on a solid land. Whoops. And a bat dropped some spiky projectile on my head and killed me instantly. But there's various different dirigibles that you can collect to fly in the air, but you just need to knock off the riders. And watch out for all those projectiles that they like to shoot at you. And again, watch out for spikes in this game. And those spiky creatures there will instantly kill you by touch. Sometimes these flaming demons will appear, and you can collect a lot of bonus points from shooting all of them and picking up whatever food they drop. And sometimes they will drop weapons that you can upgrade from your arrows. You can collect bombs, a magic wand that shoots bouncing fireballs, and a laser gun, which is the best. It's very strong, and its lasers are hella fast. Yes, sometimes you need to gauge your jumps. If you can make smaller jumps, don't forget that. If you hold down the jump button, of course, you make your biggest jump. When you're in your scuba gear, sometimes you need to look for areas where you can recover your air, little pockets in the water. Yeah, sometimes you'll need to make little tiny jumps, so just tap the jump button in certain situations so you don't jump too high, like whack your head on spikes or something, or jump up to a higher platform that you didn't want to go to. If you take too long, and there's that bouncing fireball with the cane, that's kind of sweet. I kind of like it, but I like the laser much better. If you take too long, and again, when you need to land on the ground from a platform, get on a solid ground and then just press down. But if you take too long, you will get a warning, and then if you still take too long, then a devil will show up and start following you, and if you touch the devil, you die. And he'll just get faster and faster and faster, and eventually you can't outrun him and he'll catch you. I do not remember coming across this in arcades. This probably wasn't very widespread in US arcades, but it is definitely classic title worthy. See all those letters below me? Didn't look like there was a way to get to those, but there are hidden warps that we'll look a little bit at later. Here is the first boss. And strangely enough, you need to let him eat you. There. And then you need to shoot his insides. But don't let these droplets touch you. They will kill you. So just watch out for them and shoot left, shoot right, continually shoot him on the inside, and you'll eventually beat him. What a weird boss. But maybe your kiwi bird is named Jonah. No, his name is Tiki, and the final friend that you need to rescue is your girlfriend named Fifi. Such a cute little game, but like I said, really, really difficult and frustrating at times. And you probably noticed that enemies that have the dirigibles, and watch out in this area because there's these little spikes that shoot out from the walls. The enemies that have dirigibles will appear from a door out of nowhere. You can't go in that door, but you will need to knock that enemy off. I think you can jump on them, or you can shoot them, and then you can get on their ride. You can destroy rides. I like that UFO as one of the rides that you can get. Sometimes there will be arrow blocks. Whoops, crap. Sometimes there will be little arrow blocks you can jump on, and they will move. They will move in the direction that they're pointing. There's a little arrow on them, but they're very rare in this game. Whoops. And sometimes there are little balloons with stars on them, and when you shoot them or maybe touch them, then they will scatter shots, and those little shrapnel shots can hurt or kill other enemies. I do like that duck ride. Sometimes you need to have the ride, and sometimes you don't. If there's a wide open area with no platforms, you're going to need that ride. And if you don't see an enemy right away appearing from a door with a ride, maybe just wait for a second, be patient, or maybe move to another area and look for a door opening up. There are sometimes little clocks you can collect from certain destroyed enemies, and they'll freeze the enemies for a little while. Sometimes the synchronizing or the syncing of the music was a little off when recording this. I apologize for that. I tried to get it right, but sometimes it doesn't quite work out. Sometimes that happens with certain Taito games. They don't want to sync in recording perfectly. But now we have big spikes that you gotta watch out for. Like I said, there are five I think they called worlds, and they take place on actual islands in New Zealand, I believe. I've never been to New Zealand before. I've heard it's really nice and wonderful place to live. Great varying weather. I think I heard plenty of good paying jobs and such. Wouldn't mind visiting there someday. I'm not much on travel. I'm very happy where I'm at. Whoops! Crap! I was not ready for that guy. Sometimes, like I said, these doors will pop out of nowhere, and that had a spiky guy in it, and he killed me instantly by touching me. Sometimes there will be long drops with spikes. Do not wiggle the joystick. But yeah, those that have an aversion to spikes in video games, like maybe those who played the Mega Man series, will really not be fond of the spikes in this game. And you have to especially be careful if you've got a ride. Those rides that you collect, they cannot get through all the tight quarters that you'd like them to. And sometimes you'll need to go on foot. Again, remember that most enemies, you can touch them without dying. There, I guess, is a way to shoot when you're inside the water, but you have to stick your head up enough out of the water, and when you fire the button, you spit water at your enemies. I don't know how useful a tactic that is. I don't think it's terribly useful from what I remember. But yeah, I had never heard of this up until, I don't know, 20-some years when I started playing MAME. And then I was like, oh, this is pretty cute. It's probably on a number of Taito Classics. Yeah, watch out for those bats or those demons or whatever those are. They'll drop spikes downward at you. Know your enemies. Know which direction that they like to fire projectiles at you, and know which ones are going to actually kill you if you touch them. But that is nice to know that most enemies that you kill, or most enemies that you touch will not kill you. Whoops! Oh crap! Landed on spikes. Yeah, you have to get used to the jumping mechanics in this game. It's kind of tough to do, but that's the furthest I've ever gotten on this game, and yeah, I haven't played it a whole lot, so I guess I could have done better, but whatever. That's the New Zealand story by Taito, which kind of deserves a look if you've never heard of it. Can be frustrating though. You need to have patience waiting for the rides to appear if you're going to need one, and you don't see a door opening up right away. We'll look at snippets of areas that I didn't get to yet. Or this is me dying, running out of oxygen. Nope. Didn't get to the little air pocket in time. But we'll just show snippets of the remaining areas that I did not get to. And this is the last area of round 2. And you'll see me disappear every few seconds or so. That's because I have invincibility cheat on here. And he flickers during the game, so it looks a little weird. There is a cycle. I like this right here. It's super slow going upwards, but it is super durable too. The enemies can't destroy it. I like that. But it is very slow going upwards. There is a cycle, I guess, of when you shoot an enemy and turn it into food. There's a cycle of a number of different foods that you go through when you shoot the enemies before it becomes a weapon or becomes a useful item, like the clock that stops the enemies for a while. And I don't remember what that cycle is. I was mentioning earlier that there is a trick. Here is the second boss. It's a stone octopus that shoots ink, and the ink turns into these bats that follow you. Just gotta use the platforms to get higher, get lower, and continually shoot the guy. This is a really deep, cool game, but like I said, it can be really frustrating. But that laser is the best weapon to pick up in the game. It's so fast and so strong. And there, I've beaten the second boss. Now, I was starting to mention warps, I think, at one point. There are hidden areas in just about each stage, each area, that if you shoot 5 times at empty space and you see it just hitting the wall, or hitting empty space, and not further than that, if you hit it like 5 times, then you'll open up a warp, and you can go to a different area, either in the stage or another stage. Ooh, and there I collected the last letter of extend. It's really stupid. It shows a number next to each letter, like you can collect each letter more than one time, but once you get that extra life, then you start over. You can't have reserve letters, which is kind of stupid. And there are sometimes waterfalls that you'll plunge down when you're swimming. But yeah, look for an air pocket or the surface, and just hold up enough so that your mask is over the surface. and that you'll get your oxygen back. I remember the first time I played this and I saw the enemies coming out of those doors. I tried to go in the doors and I was frustrated that I couldn't enter them. But yeah, you don't go in those doors, just the enemies can emerge from them. And there's that devil, and I've got invincibility on, so these spikes aren't hurting me. And neither is the devil. And of course, Bubble Bobble had the Skella Monster, or Baron von Blubber, or whatever his name was, following you. And they've got like a couple bats trying to kill me, but I had invincibility on, so they couldn't do it. It's just such a cute game, but yeah, don't be surprised if you get really frustrated at times. Very difficult. And here's more arrow blocks. Some of them will ascend, and some of them will descend. But yeah, learning the jumping mechanics is really important in this game. And also knowing which rides can go through certain tight areas and which can't. Most of them cannot go through super tight areas. And you'll have to watch out for those spikes. Sometimes the spikes are really small and they're kind of hard to see. And yeah, when you hear the music speed up, the devil's about to make an appearance and start harassing you. There is another trick besides the warps that I did not mention yet. If you run out of lives, depending on how you died, and if you got to at least World 3-1, you might earn a chance to run or have one more life. You will go to heaven, believe it or not. It's really funny. We'll look at that later on. And here is the World 3 boss. A weird Matryoshka doll type of thing that shoots out missiles from its belly. Some weird bosses in this game. Yeah, leave a comment if you've seen this in the arcades. I certainly have not. It's a very cute game, though. And we are in the second to last world. Yeah, if you can get a hold of that laser, definitely make good use of it, because it is super strong and it's super fast and it cuts right through enemies. Yeah, look for those air pockets when you've got your scuba gear. Note that there's an oxygen meter at the bottom left that will appear once you've got your scuba gear, and sometimes there's bubbles that get in your way. You can't get oxygen back by touching them like in Sonic the Hedgehog. Also notice that at the bottom left there is a sort of map. It'll show an arrow showing where the kiwi bird is that you need to rescue. It's hard to see against the game's screen, but it'll show where they're at, and they'll show like a little flashing square where you are. But it's still not super helpful. But you'll see the letters that you need to collect. You'll see an EX and an ND, trying to spell extend to get myself an extra life on the far right. And like I said, they'll show a number next to them when you start to get more than one, although it seems to all disappear once you get that extra life, which is stupid. Maybe it doesn't do that on certain versions of or certain ROMs of the New Zealand story. I like this stage. It's a big old ship full of spikes. And boy does that thing move slowly, but it is indestructible. I do like that. Enemies will try to destroy it under your feet, and they will have no such luck. But expanding on what I was talking about, heaven, I would have definitely been killed, smacking my head on spikes by now if I didn't have invincibility on. But if you are killed a certain way, there's a number of certain ways that you can die in order to have a chance to go to heaven and maybe get out of it and return even after having lost your last life. And on this stage there's a barrel that warps you to another part of this this castle. On this stage you only need to get to the end of the castle. You don't have to face a boss. I mean, this is the last part of stage 4, I think it was. There's also these dragons that are riding balloons, and they will breathe fire at you. But yeah, just about any enemy that has a dirigible of some sort, something that you can use to fly around on, they will be throwing weapons at you. And they can throw axes, arrows, big rocks, all sorts of things. Note now that we have something that's not spikes, or I don't think they're spikes, but they're on the ground, and they will kill you if you land on them. This is just about the only area in the game that has these. I don't know what they are. Sorry, the game got a little glitchy here. It'll right itself, there we go. I don't know what that is. But we will look at heaven later on, and you have one chance to go to heaven, or you can do that on in the third world, the fourth world, and the fifth world. You can't do it before that. But we'll look at how you do that in detail later on, and how you get out of it. The general goal in heaven, I guess, is to reach the Virgin Mary or her likeness and die a peaceful, happy death. Creepy. But there's a secret way to return to Earth and continue your quest to rescue all the captured kiwi birds. There's the devil harassing me. Isn't he supposed to be in Georgia? At any rate, we are almost at... They get really spastic here. Almost at the end, there we go. But yeah, I've never seen this in arcades or anything. Hope you all are having a great weekend. There's also this guy that shoots a cannon up in the air from the ground. All sorts of enemies trying to take you down with their projectiles. On this Arctic, or this stage that takes place in the Antarctic, the floor is slippery. There are snow or ice blocks that you cannot jump through from below, which you could with regular blocks earlier on. And you need to use some sort of dirigible to fly around and find the exit in these enclosed areas here. And nope. Hyper Devil. There we go. I like that UFO that you can ride, whatever that is, that shoots lasers. And then this is the last stage of the game. But yeah, if you run out of lives, you can use the opportunity to go to heaven to earn a return trip to Earth and continue on with that one life. There's that duck or whatever that is that flies through the air, or a goose or something. Oops! With invincibility on, I lost my ride when I landed on the spikes. You need to keep that ride or else you're screwed. Well, you'll die by touching the spikes, or if you have invincibility on, you can't jump high enough to shoot the balloon that this leopard seal has. And this, yeah, the guy that stole your kiwi bird buddies is the final boss of the game, and you have to shoot his balloon. I can't jump high enough to shoot it, so I'm going to have to turn off invincibility. But you need that ride. And you don't want him to pop your ride with his projectiles. And there, we've beaten the game. And I've rescued my girlfriend, Fifi. I love the background story and the epilogue here. Or, well, this is part of the story and also epilogue. Help me. And then the leopard seal has a hat on when he's in public trying to sell off the kiwi birds. Such a cute little game, but like I said, be prepared to be frustrated at times. And they're walking down the street. You have sneakers on, and she has more ladylike shoes, and a bow in her hair. That is the New Zealand story, and yeah, we will look a little bit at the warps that you can take. The warps don't seem to appear in every ROM version. I played one where I did not find the warps, and I've played some ROM versions that were a lot different from other ROM versions, gameplay-wise, or order of levels, or the way the levels were arranged. But you might want to try an older ROM version, to make sure that it's the one that has all the warps and plays the way that you remember. We'll put in my initials because I beat the whole game here. I cheated to get there, but oh well. Hope you're all having a great weekend. We had a fairly busy work week at the hospital this last week, so I'm glad to have some time off. But we'll go ahead and look at how to get to heaven now. Like I said, you need to lose all your lives on level 3-1 or world 3-1 or later. And you have to be killed by a certain way. You can be killed by the enemies' projectiles, arrows, stones, bombs, boomerangs, or spears. Any other way, you will not have the chance to go to heaven, and I went to heaven here. And heaven is full of spikes, apparently. You'll have to do a lot of platform jumping. You'll have to watch out for enemies that are trying to hit you by projectile. Die once in heaven, that's it. You're dead. And watch how you jump on these platforms. Ah, that's me dying. That's it. I died in heaven. That's all. Maybe you go to purgatory, I don't know. But you have to be very careful here jumping on these platforms, because there's lots of spikes waiting to catch you. And we'll just kind of skip through sometimes through heaven just so I can show you me reaching the end. But there is the statue of the Virgin Mary. And if you touch her, you will die a peaceful, happy death. And it has a little epilogue here. Tiki met the goddess and went into a long sleep in the warm sunlight. But the heavens hid an exit to the underworld. He could have exited heaven. Tiki, he died. Very grim. But we will actually see how you escape from heaven. And there's a trick on this first opportunity. You have to fall off the platform right there. And then you can walk right, and then you fall through here. Then keep going right, and you will return to Earth. This is your last opportunity. I mean, you can get extra lives after this, but yeah, pick up on the round that you left off. Oop, I wasted that. Here is me going to heaven on World 4. And the stages look a little different. I think this might have been the easiest one. You still have to take care not to fall down on the spikes below. And I think I need to go left, yeah. But yeah, the Virgin Mary, or maybe it is a goddess. If you accidentally reach her, then you will get that kind of sad death ending that we saw earlier. So you want to reach that opportunity to return to Earth with one more life. Yeah, it takes a while to get used to the jump mechanics so that you don't overjump or jump too short. Oh, those projectiles are really annoying. Yeah, you walk through the platform that she's standing on the bottom to the right, and then you will fall back down to Earth. And then there is one more way to go to heaven, and that is on round 5. But yeah, remember, certain projectiles you want to touch to send you to heaven, and I've already explained them. Arrow, stone, bomb, boomerang, and spear. Maybe others, but those are the ones that I know. And this might be the hardest one. Look at all those projectiles they sling at you, and then once you get a ride, you have to watch out for these spikes here. Be very, very, very careful. You'll have to tap the jump button to rise at just the right points to just clear a wall of spikes or something. Ooh, I got to land on a platform, but fortunately there was solid ground below, not spikes. I've got invincibility on anyway. But now here, this is weird. See that colored block, that colored tile in the background below the spikes on the ceiling? You need to jump through that just right, and then enemies will appear, giving you a ride. I have to jump through it a little bit more. You can brush your head on those spikes a little bit. So you need to go through that colored tile, and then you'll be able to get yourself a ride. Then you need to ride to the right through a little gap. It's the E and the X were kind of in the way. There we go. You can kind of see. But you need to ride through there, and the devil is following me. I do not have invincibility on right now. The devil can eventually catch up with you. He'll be a little teeny bit faster than you. But I'm on my way down to Earth. And he touched me, but I made it anyway. Good. But now we will look at the warps. Here is one on the first stage near the end. Shoot on this platform and jump. And there's a warp. You will get sucked in and you will go to a different area. And this drops me by some letters. And now this puts me on a different stage. Yeah, it can put you on a different stage. It can just take you to some extra life letters. Very cool. This game is really deep. There's a lot to appreciate about it. Well, that was the New Zealand story by Taito in 1988. Game number 19 in our 20 from 1988 series. And I hope to see you soon for game number 18. Y'all have a great weekend, everybody, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.